Samsung Galaxy J7 charging port replacement. Okay, to replace the charging port for the Galaxy J7, if you can see, the charging port is broken, so we don't even have to diagnose the device. It's broken. It powers on, but it doesn't charge because the charging port is broken. So what do you have to do? Remove the battery. For this phone, we have to remove the screen. The screws are behind the screen, so I am going to put my phone, or place my phone facing down on the hot plate. Here's the hot plate, and I'm going to wait until it's hot enough, usually about a minute. My hot plate is it's set to 100 degrees Celsius. Okay, I think it's ready. Now I'm gonna get my opening tool. I'm going to get some alcohol, and I'm going to lift one of the corners. I'm putting my opening tool between the plastic frame and the glass or the screen. So I just go side to side. Now I'm not going to go all the way in. There are command keys right here, or flex cable for the there is a flex cable for the command keys, so we don't want to go all the way in. What I'm going to do is I'm going to replace my opening tool with a film, plastic film, and I'm going to apply some alcohol, and I'm just going to go between the frame and remove the glue from the edges. So this is what I'm doing right now. Put some alcohol and go between the edges. So now my phone, I need to put it back on the hot plate. So every time I feel pressure, I put it back on the hot plate. I can remove my opening tool. That was just to create a gap. Okay, I'm back to the same process, and I keep going. Here you go. I only put my film on the edges. Remember, there's gonna be there is a cable underneath the command keys. So I remove the glue. Here you go. Now, if you notice my film, I'm just gonna go through the edges. I'm not going to put my film all the way in. The LCD is this black square, and we don't want to damage the LCD. So I'm just removing the glue from the edges. Okay, now I get my big guitar pick, and I'm going to lift my screen up. So I'm just pushing the screen up gently. Now I am gonna go under the microscope so you guys can see what I do. I'm going to put my film behind the LCD. So I don't know if you guys can see it. There is a metal piece behind the LCD. I am going to do it under the microscope so you guys can see. I'm going to take my guitar pick and I'm going to go behind the LCD. I don't want to go behind the LCD and the glass. Behind the LCD. So let me do it under the microscope so you guys can see it. Okay, so here's my LCD. Let me see. So this is what I'm doing right now. Let me show you. So I have my phone, and I'm holding my phone, and I'm pushing or pulling away. I'm pushing the screen with my guitar pick. I'm pushing away my screen with the guitar pick. So I'm lifting the screen with my guitar pick. Now I'm gonna take my film and I'm gonna go behind the LCD. So this is the backlight, this is the glass. I'm going behind the LCD. That metal piece, can you guys see it? So let me just show you with the other camera. So I took my film and I put it behind the LCD. Let me go to camera number 1. So I'm behind the LCD. Okay, now I am going to put the phone under the on the hot plate, and then I am gonna use my film to remove the glue from the edges. These videos may be a little bit too long, and the reason why is because I'm making these videos for the students that took our courses, and this is all details, small details, so that it's going to help them do their own repairs. Okay. So now it's ready. I keep going. Now careful. Now my film, it's almost all halfway in. I'm not gonna go on this area. The flex cable that connects the LCD is on this area. So when I'm up here, I just bring my film. I just pull it out. Let me go inside again. Okay, so when I get to this area, I can't have all my film inside or I will damage the flex cable. So this is what I do. I'm going inside, removing the glue from the edges. Here you go. I'm just removing the glue. Make sure you don't rip the cables for the so now I can put my film in there. I'm able to see the cables. I still have some glue on this area. Okay, now it's almost out. Now let me check. Something's holding the screen. I'm trying to lift it up. I'm trying to lift up the screen, but something's holding the screen down. I am gonna use the microscope to check. Okay, so let me see. So I don't know if you guys can see it, but the flex cable for the command keys, it's attached to the glass right now. So if I force it, I'm going to rip the cable. So I'm just gonna go with my opening tool, apply some alcohol, and I'm going to disattach the flex cable from the glass. There's the flex cable for the command keys, and I'm just applying some alcohol. So that is the flex cable. So I almost damaged the cable. If I just pull it out, I can damage the cable. Do you guys see the cable right here? So that's why when I felt the cable, I stopped. Now I can also rip the cable with my film. So I just push it down. Now let me see. I'm going under the microscope. I see some more glue. So I take my film. I see some glue behind the home button, some adhesive, so I just go and remove the glue. That's why you need a microscope. There you go. Almost out. Okay. So my command keys, the cables for the command keys are in good condition. And the reason why is that I check under the microscope and I noticed that the one on the left side, it was attached to the glass. So I went in with my opening tool and I pull it down with alcohol. So now I'm going to place it on the hot plate again. Okay, so now I'm just gonna remove the glue from the right side, the edges. Here you go. And now I'm just going to lift the screen up slowly. And whenever I feel pressure, I check and I go with my film and remove cut the adhesive. Only the adhesive, not the cable. So I see adhesive right here, so I just cut it gently. And I tried to lift up the screen, it's not coming off yet. So I'm going to put it back on my hot plate. screw is not coming out, but it's already loose. So I'm just going to leave it there. Here you go. So this was the flex cable that I was talking about. So this one stayed down, but this one, it was attached to the glass. So if I just pull out the glass, the LCD like that, if I just take it out, I will rip the cable. Okay, this is loose. This one's loose. Okay, so all of those are loose. Let me see if they come out. No. So all I have to do is I'm going to push with my fingers. I'm going to push the frame out. So I'm pushing from the back and I'm taking out the frame. Let me see if this screw is loose. Okay, yeah, it is loose. Okay, so I'm pushing out the frame. Push. Okay, let me remove the SIM tray, the SIM card, and that's it. It's out. Okay, so now I'll just remove this. Are there any screws that I need to remove from the motherboard? No. There's gonna be one connector on the bottom for the audio jack. And now I just check for screws for the motherboard. I don't see any screws on the motherboard. So I'm just going to push the motherboard out from here. Pull it out. It's not coming out. Oh, there is one screw. So we are going to remove that one black screw that is holding the motherboard. Okay, let me see. So I'm just gonna use my flathead to take out the motherboard from here. This is what's holding the motherboard right now. So I'm just going inside gently and I'm taking out the motherboard. Here you go. So the motherboard is out. Let me put the camera to the side. In the frame. Okay, so I have my motherboard. Now I'm going to use my motherboard holder and I'm going to apply heat from the top and remove the charging port. Now we have a microphone. That square is the microphone. Let me show you. So here's the microphone. So we have to make sure we cover that microphone with heat resistant tape. So the microphone is on this side and the hole for the microphone is gonna be on the other side. So I don't want to apply heat, or I don't want the flux to go in the hole for the microphone. So I'm going to cover that microphone with heat tape. So here's the microphone and I'm going around and I'm going to cover the microphone with heat tape. So I cover the microphone with heat tape, or the hole for the microphone, and I'm ready to replace the charging port. How do I replace the charging port? I'm going to use my motherboard holder. So I'm going to use my motherboard holder. Do I need to remove the camera? No, I don't. I don't need to remove the camera because it's on the other side, so I'm not applying heat by the camera. So here you go, I have my motherboard. So let me see if I can get it to... Okay, let me use number 1. Okay, so I have my charging port, and I have my microphone cover. So I am going to apply heat, and I'm going to use 370 Celsius, and my airflow is going to be 60. Okay, so this is my setup. So what I do is I apply heat, I move side to side. I'm not putting any heat on the microphone. I'm waiting for the solder to melt. When it's ready, I take it out. Here's the charging port. Okay, so now that I have my motherboard, I'm going to go under the microscope, and I'm going to apply some solder to the solder joints, to the connections. Okay, so I take my solder wire, I take some flux, and I apply flux. Just remember, don't apply flux in the microscope, in the microphone. And now I'm going to put solder. So I do 1, I do 2, I do 3, I do 4, and then I go to the back. Okay, that's ready. Now I get some alcohol, and I just clean the port. Let me fix that, this one. It is too much solder. Okay, something like that. Okay, so my charging port is ready. Now I have to get my charging port ready. So what I do is I am going to take my new charging port, which is this one, and I'm going to put a tape. This is the broken one. This is the good one, so I'm just going to put heat tape on the top to prevent the heat, to prevent heat from going in the charging port and burning the plastic inside the charging port. So I take the charging port, now I put tape again. So I don't put any tape already because I do it really fast. However, I just want to show you guys how to do it if you're a beginner. Okay. So I'm just covering the charging port with heat resistant tape. So I cover the charging port with tape on the top. Let me show it to you under the microscope. This is how it looks. And now I'm ready to install my charging port. So I'm going to place it on the motherboard holder again. Okay, and now I am going to apply heat, and as soon as I see that the solder has melted, I am going to insert my charging port. I'm going to put my charging port on its place. Okay, so I'm just gonna go. My temperature is the same one. Let me see if you guys can see it from this side. Let me do zoom in. Okay, so I'm just gonna go with my heat gun side to side. I have my tweezers ready so that I can insert my charging port. Okay, so I go side to side. Side to side. side to side, and I see that the solder is melting, so I go and I put the charging port inside. One side, then the other one. You can do one side and the other one. Just make sure it's all the way in. Okay, so now it's all the way in. That's how it looks. Now I can remove the tape for the microphone. And now all we have to do is solder the back pins, the pins on the back for the charging port. So I'm gonna do it under the microscope. So I go under my microscope. I am going to remove the tape. And now all I have to do is apply flux. And now I'm going to solder one by one. Okay, so let me solder each of those solder connections or solder or pins. Let's go. Here we go. There goes the first one. Now I go to the second one. Let me clean my tip. I think I need some more flux. Okay. Push this up so you guys can see it. Okay, so there goes the first one. Let me solder the second one. So I just go. There you go. Now we're talking. Okay, now the next one. Now the next one. Now the next one. I'm going to clean my tip. Now the last two. Now the next one. This is how it looks from the inside. Let me just add a little more solder to this one. Okay, so this is done. So now I'm just going to clean it with a Q-tip and alcohol. Okay, so I cleaned the charging port with alcohol and a Q-tip. I'm just going to put some air on it. This is how the charging port looks. Okay, so now we just have to build the device. Okay. So I have my motherboard. I have my housing. I put my housing. I put the motherboard in the housing. Connect the audio jack. Connect the front camera. Install the screw from the that holds the motherboard. Now I am going to put the frame, the back frame. For the back frame, I start from the bottom to the top. It clicks. Now I am going to put all the screws, screw all the screws. Okay, so next one. What am I missing? Oh. Okay, let me see, make sure everything is inside. Okay, now I'm going to put the SIM card back, the memory card. Everything is inside. Now we are going to connect the screen. I connect the screen. Now I'm going to before I close the phone, I'm going to charge the phone, make sure everything is working. I insert my battery. And I'm going to connect the charger, the USB cable, to the charging port, and we're gonna see if it charges. Here you go, the phone is charging. Okay, so charging port is ready. Now we just have to seal the screen. Okay, so the phone is working. Okay, so the phone is working. Everything is working. Now, what do I have to do? I have to glue the screen. So I am going to put the plastic holder. Careful with the flex cable. Just see how, do what I'm doing. I'm holding the screen with one hand, and with the other one I'm working. I do not want to pull this cable. I don't want to rip the cable. Remember, the battery has to be out while you're working on the motherboard. The battery cannot be connected. Okay, nice and secure. Now I am going to glue the screen. So let me get the screen ready. So I'm going to So I have my screen. And I'm just going to apply B7000 on the edges, all around the edge. So I just go with my B7000 and I go all around the edge. Make sure you don't get B7000 on the camera. So I'm just going around, but I don't apply B7000 on the cameras. And then I go around the edges. The other side. Don't worry about the residue. We're gonna clean that right now. Okay. So I have my phone ready. What is the, there is like a piece of tape underneath the. Okay, never mind. Doesn't matter. Okay. So now that I put B7000, I'm just gonna go from the top and then to the bottom. Something's wrong right here. Hold on. Okay. So I go from top to bottom. I put the battery. Now I take my cleaning cloth and I remove the residue from the glue. Make sure it's nice and clean. And the phone is ready to go. Okay, thank you for watching this video. If you have any questions, please post them in the comments section. Please visit cellphonerepairacademy.com. Have a nice day, guys.